All right, now we're recording. I see it.
Rolling.
They see us rolling. They hate it. But rolling, they don't catch it riding dirty. We're so good.
We
Look
should
at us
start
being
a
so
band. Oh, you just push it.
push.
You're great. You got it.
Good job, Dan. Bye.
Great job. Bye bye. See you later.
All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My voice just got so high, but it's because I'm so excited. So, guys, to my left and your right, I'm obviously also in a different location, which I'll explain that. But this is my friend Bonnie Kate. Bonnie Kate. I don't know. I keep calling these hi. Like these hi. Yay!
Yes.
It's just because I'm excited. So Bonnie Kate is a friend of mine. We're in her home right now.
Rosemary.
And Rosemary is the most beautiful Airstream that they have converted, like, because Airstreams don't come like this, right?
No, definitely not. It's a 79, so it's an old Airstream, and we completely gutted it out and rebuilt everything ourselves. We're not like builders or anything, but we just figured it out.
It's so stunning and unreal what they've done with this place. I'll insert footage right now if you're not already seeing it. Like, it's just beautiful, and I am so excited to be here today to do a tea talk with Bonnie Kate.
Yes.
Because to those of you who don't know Bonnie Kate, by the end of this, not only will you know her, you will also be in love with her because she's one of those people that, like, everybody who meets her just falls in love immediately.
I feel that way about you.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if everybody else feels that way about me, but I really appreciate that.
I do.
Thank you. And I'm so excited to be sitting here with her because her story is so impactful. I actually met Bonnie Kate at a really pivotal point in my life. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I went through like a really deep depression last year, and I met Bonnie Kate at like one of the deepest points of that depression. Like, Tiffany had pulled me out that night to go out and meet her. She's like, you need to meet my friend.
Ugh.
What, just the timing of it?
No, it's like so like perfect how all that orchestrated, because I would have never known. It's like God just like plopped
Isn't it
us
crazy?
right together, and it's amazing.
It's amazing.
I feel so excited. Like,
I know. I feel the same way. And you'll understand more, like, as you hear her story today. I think you're going to be like, oh, I get it. But it's just the coolest way that God put us together. So, this is Tea Talk. So, before we jump into your story, we do have to address the tea that we're drinking today.
The tea in the room.
So, are you a big tea fan?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
The biggest. I will drink pots of tea.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you
Are
prefer it hot or cold? Hot.
Most of the time, because I usually want to feel cozy. Unless it's like a scorching summer day, and then I'll have
Then
iced.
you want it hot. I love tea, but I've always loved iced tea, never hot tea, until I moved here.
Really?
Yes. And now for the last 2 months, I've made a few glasses of hot tea because it just feels so cozy and nice.
Especially like with this nice fall weather. It's the best feeling.
I didn't even know what fall was really until I moved here.
Yeah,
I thought
California is so different,
It's so different, especially Southern California.
Yeah,
I thought I understood what fall weather was. Like, yeah, the leaves change.
Yeah, it's pretty.
No idea till I moved here. So what tea are you drinking?
I am drinking, I think it's called Cinnamon Sunset by Harney and Sons. And
yes.
it is spicy and delicious. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite.
Wait, I'm realizing this right now. Did we already tell them what we're drinking? Or we just talked about this tea so much that
we I don't think we have.
I don't think we said anything. So Cinnamon Sunset, which you said tastes like a cinnamon like candy.
Yeah, like a Red Hot kind of.
Okay, it smells like a Red Hot.
Exactly. It's so good.
And then I'm drinking Peach Detox.
Yes.
Peach Detox, and it tastes really good, for the record.
Yes. Can't really do this with one hand. Here we go.
And I have a little honey in mine, and I never put honey in my drink.
How's it with the honey?
It tastes good. I can't really taste it much, to be honest. It's just
mild.
Like the perfect amount of sweet.
Yeah, I like it whenever it's not overpoweringly sweet.
Yeah, it's good. Too sweet is not my jam. I know some people are big sweet tea fans. People said to me in the comments, "Oh, you're gonna move to the South and become a sweet tea person." I'm like,
I'm from the South, and I don't drink sweet tea because you're like,
it's like
you have so much sugar.
Too much sweetness.
Yeah.
So okay, we're gonna dive right in. I'll be moving around a lot.
Put on your scuba gear because we're going deep.
Because we're going. I actually told her when I got here, I was like, I've been a little nervous all morning because her story is really intense. She's been through a lot, and I was nervous, and I just kept thinking, oh, if I'm nervous, I bet Bonnie Kate is nervous because I'm like, here we go, we're about to dive into the whole story. So just know, like, it's an intense story, it's a good story.
Yeah, a little PG-13.
I was just about to say, maybe if you have young ones with you, you might want to watch this beforehand, see how you feel. I mean, nothing like, I don't know how I'm trying to pitch this, but it's just intense. Yeah. So, where do we even begin, Bonnie Kate? Should we start with, when you told me, you started with the story of your mission.
Yes. Okay. That's a good place to start. And I'll weave my lover boy into it too.
I didn't know about lover boy.
Max.
Oh, I thought you meant a separate lover boy.
Oh, gosh,
okay, just kidding.
No.
I was like, this is random.
My lover boy, aka
your
my
actual
husband.
lover boy, yeah?
Yes, my husband.
Whoosh, right over my head. Okay, yes. So
Yes.
go ahead, weave it all together. We can
Yes.
start wherever you'd like to start.
Okay, so about 5.5 years ago, or maybe even a little bit more than that, I went on a mission trip to Haiti.
Was that right after all the turmoil that had really hit Haiti, the earthquake?
Yeah. It was really, upside down, really hard. And Haiti is already, it's such a mixture of things. It's strikingly beautiful, and the people there are so resilient and just incredible, but there's like so much poverty, and it's just like a really hard place. And there's also a lot of like voodoo and darkness all mixed in. So it's like this beautiful, hard, dark, bright place. It's like a mixture of
everything.
Things. But I went and I just absolutely fell in love. I just felt like something wake up inside of me that was just like, I can't even describe it. I just felt so alive and like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Wow. And how
long did you stay in Haiti?
I was there, so I was supposed to be there for like a year.
Okay.
And then I was only there for 3 months. But I got incredibly sick, like throwing up.
I didn't realize
up to 100 times a day.
Oh my gosh! I didn't realize you were only there for 3 months when that happened.
Yeah, it was not very long. So I was supposed to stay for way longer, and I was kind of like hiding it from my parents because I wanted to stay, and I was like loving it so much, but I would like pass out. I would be throwing up so much and throw up blood, and it was just like really intense. And my roommate was an ER nurse, and she like would give me IV fluids and was just the absolute best. Like, she really did save my life.
I was just gonna say the hand of God in that, the fact that your roommate was an ER nurse.
Seriously, it was like I wouldn't be here without Jess. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
So the same time that all this was going on, like right before I went to Haiti, this tall, handsome, dreaded man named
I didn't even realize, by the way, that he used to have dreads.
Yes.
And I was like watching your videos like a month ago. I'm like, he
had
full-on dreads.
Oh yeah, like down to here.
That is so cool.
So whenever I first met him, he had dreads, and so Max came on really strong. Because he's just Max. He's all in. Exactly. And I was like 18 at the time. And super naive and unsure and just like all over the place. Yeah. And I was living in Haiti, which was really hard. So we dated for like 2.5 weeks. And then I broke up with him when I was in Haiti.
Oh, so you were dating 2.5 weeks before you left to Haiti?
No, well, he went to Haiti with me. So it was crazy. He
was on this trip?
Yes, so he went to film a video. And we started talking before we went to Haiti, but we weren't dating until like the week that I moved. So it was like all at the same time. And so just like a lot was going on. And I had never been away from home for more than like 2.5 weeks. And then I decided to move to like a third world country.
Oh my god.
It was a little ambitious of me. And
I feel like that's
but I loved it.
Like I loved it.
It was perfect. It was good. And I did, and it was awesome. But I was like, this boyfriend thing, I don't know what to do. And I broke it off.
Yeah. And at 18, that's scary.
Yeah.
I remember when I met Dan, and he told me he loved me, and I literally looked at him and was like, I have to pee.
Oh, yeah.
And when I told my mom the next day, she goes, people fall in love. I was like, but Mom, I'm 19.
But I don't know what to do
So,
here.
like, point being is I remember that feeling. It's scary, so it would make sense.
I think I said, thanks. Whenever he said I love you now. And I'm pretty sure his heart just shattered just then. But I didn't know what to say. But anyways, so I got really sick when I was in Haiti. And so I had to fly home, like, super last minute. And while I was home, I was getting actually worse, and the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Like, I kept having to get IV fluids, and I was trying all these different medicines, and then they finally, like...
What do you mean you got worse, though? Like, the throwing up got worse?
More consistent, just all the time. Like, I couldn't... anywhere I would go, I could, like, start throwing up. Like, so... It was terrible.
Like, it would be like you and I are talking, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God.
I gotta go. And then I just go. Like, in church, or when I went to go try on swimsuits, or when I would, like, all the time. Yeah. And it was just, like, debilitating. And so I was about to have, like, a pacemaker put in my stomach to make it contract right, or a feeding tube or something, because I was just really going downhill. And, like, emotionally, too, I was just so discouraged because I loved Haiti so much, and then I was ripped away, and then all this hard
horrible
stuff.
way, too.
Exactly. And my parents were like, you like, you need to go out and live before we make any of these decisions. And so I had already planned this trip with my friend Elizabeth. We were starting in Seattle and going to be driving back to Louisiana. Okay. And we were like, I don't think I can do the trip. And they're like, no, you should do it. You can find, like, hospitals along the way if you need fluids.
So at this point, you're still actively randomly throwing up a bunch.
So I had gotten some medicine that was, like, helping regulate it a little bit, but like still probably 3 days out of the week I would just be done, like throwing out a ton. And so it was miserable. I felt terrible. I was so discouraged, but I was like, okay, we're gonna go out and like go on this big adventure and it'll be fun, and then I get back and we'll make the decision.
So before you went out on this trip, what was the status with Max at this point? Because he went to Haiti to film the film.
Yes. I broke up with him when he was back in the States.
Oh, so he left and then you're like, buddy, just kidding, sorry, we're done.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so you guys were done.
But the day before I go on this road trip, my whole family was like, you need to meet with him, meet with him. Because, like, they're absolutely obsessed with Max. They love him because he's the best. And I was just like, I don't want to meet with him. But finally, I met with him, and it was like a really intense conversation, and we didn't really like communicate that much, but it was a really hard conversation. That was the last time that I talked to him before I went on this crazy road trip.
Wow.
And so then I go on this road trip, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, we started in Seattle, and it was beautiful, and we explored the mountains, and we went to the Grand Tetons and Mount Rushmore.
I don't even know what the Grand Tetons is.
Oh, it's in Wyoming, and it's
amazing. My sister knows.
She knows. Shayna knows. Yeah. Can't wait to meet you,
Shayna. Okay, go on.
So it was just like breathtakingly beautiful, amazing. But I was like incredibly sick the whole time, like, low energy and throwing up a lot. And so all that's going on, and we end up in Aurora, Colorado. Okay. And so we were supposed to go hiking and see like these beautiful wildflowers and this waterfall. If those of you don't know me, I'm obsessed with all the green things and all the flowers and all the things that grow.
All of the flowers.
Yes,
and if they can be made to a flower crown, the better. Although what flower can't be made to a flower crown?
Exactly.
Let's be real.
Exactly. So
you were supposed to go out,
and there was a really bad drought, and so we ended up not going to the hike because the waterfall had dried up and all this sort of stuff. So we went to our hotel early, and the lady at the front desk was like, so like there's this down the road and this over here, and there's like a movie theater like 2 miles away. And so we're like, what if we went and saw the Batman movie?
Yeah.
And so I had never seen any of the other like Batman movies.
Oh, you
I'm
had
not
it.
a Batman fan or anything. Like, my friend Elizabeth had seen the other ones. She was the one that I was on the road trip with.
Yeah.
And we were like, sure, let's go. I mean, why not? Like, it's right there. It'd be fun. Like, kind of last minute decided to go see the movie. So, about 15 minutes into the movie or so, I saw what looked like a toy, like a little toy missile or something fly across the screen.
Yeah.
And like explode. And I thought like somebody was just messing around because, it's midnight premiere, everyone's like dressed up and kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But then right after that, like real gunshots started, firing, and I realized like, oh no, this isn't someone messing around, like this is real.
And you knew pretty fast, you told me, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been around guns.
Yeah, exactly. My brothers hunt, and like I know what.
So you knew pretty fast.
Yes. So I like ducked down under my seat, and I grabbed my friend Elizabeth's hand and like pulled her down beside me, and
because you knew before she did, huh?
Yeah, because she was just frozen. She like didn't I guess was like in shock and didn't really like realize what was going on. And then there was a lot going on. It was like dark tear. So that thing that flew across the screen. And the movie's still playing. Yeah, the movie's still playing. That thing that flew across the screen was actually a tear gas bomb. And so there was tear gas burning her eyes. Gunshots were being fired. There was like
so you could feel the tear gas in your eyes.
And the funny thing is like, so I vaguely remember that, but more I remember like the pain in my knee. So what had happened is like all that was going on, and in the midst of that I felt like a huge like bang in my leg, and my whole body like jolted from the impact of it. And like I knew right away that I had been like hit, and the craziest thing happened. Like I was in so much pain, but at the same time, like even still to this day, like it just like I can't even really relate, but I just felt this overwhelming sense of peace that just washed over me. It was like God just like wrapped me up in a warm blanket and was just holding me tight, and I I didn't think I was going to make it out alive. Like, I was bleeding out really bad. But I just had this overwhelming sense of peace. Like, God was so near to me and, like, so real. Like, as real as this. Like, just present. Like,
what an experience to feel that.
It was the last thing that you would probably expect to feel in such a horrific, dark thing. Like, I can't even relate to you how, like, terrifying it is. Like, people saying goodbye and,
so
like,
that was
smell
going
of
on
blood
around you?
And everyone, like, all that was happening. And so in the midst of that, like, I had this crazy sense of peace, and so I reached out and grabbed Elizabeth's hand and started praying. And so she had no idea that I had been shot because I was, like, really calm.
Wow. And the fact that this was all going on and you still reached over to start praying while the movie is playing.
It was
all
a
of
lot
that's going on. That's incredible.
It was just like,
so
God was so present.
Yeah. So she did not know at this point.
No, she had no idea. So what happened was there was a pause in the shooting, and everybody, like, got up and started running to the exit. And so Elizabeth, not knowing that I couldn't follow her, she, like, ran to the exit. And, like, I tried to kind of get up, and my knee just, like, totally buckled from under me. Like, it just, it was really bloody and bad. And so I just remember, like, laying on the ground, like, facing the exit door. I could kind of see it. And I remember just, like, praying, being like, God, please send someone to help me. But if not, I still trust you. And I had, like, this crazy feeling, like, no matter what happens, I'm gonna go home, or, like, I'm, like, going home.
Yeah.
And it was just this crazy, like, calm in the midst of the terror of that dark night. And it was crazy. And then the thing is, though, this guy from another theater room.
This is crazy.
Yeah. His name is Chris Lakota, and he's a Native American, and he ran into the room. He's the only other person besides emergency personnel that ran into the shooting. And he was going after the shooter. And, like, he kind of had a rough past and was like, I can kill him. I could, like, jump on him and snap his neck and prevent him from
Didn't you say that he
people.
felt like, oh, this is what I was, like, born for?
Well,
this is my moment.
What happened was, so he ran in, and then he saw me at James Holmes's feet. That was the shooter. So, crazy. I was facing the exit door, not knowing that the shooter was right behind me on my aisle with a, like, gun jammed. And so
he basically came up over you to start shooting down that aisle, and at that moment, his gun jammed.
He was pointed right where I was, pointed at me on the ground. And so Chris Lakota, the guy who came to help me, saw him and then saw me at his feet. Like, I'm oblivious to him behind me. And then he said that his whole life prepared him for that one moment to help me. So instead of going after him, he helped me up. And then, so, like, the shooter's gun was jammed, and then so he, like, looked at Chris Lakota, turned around, and walked out to his car to, like, reload. And so he had, like, full out, like, ballistic gear, gas mask, and he had, like, all these guns, and the police caught him there at his car. And so, crazy. So Chris Lakota helps me up, like, wraps my arm around him and, like, helps me walk down, and we're, like, rushing out. My leg is just, like, not doing good. And then when we get to the bottom of the lobby, that's where my friend, like, sees me and is like, oh my gosh, like, you're hurt. And because she
didn't she get up and go running because she thought she was you were behind her?
Yeah, she thought I could follow her.
Whoa!
And she had no idea.
I can't even imagine how terrifying that would be to get out and look back
realize and be like, she's not there.
That would be terrifying.
I know. It was really, really tough. And so, craziness, like, they brought me out and laid me down, like, outside of the theater, and they wrapped up my leg really tight because it was like a wine bottle like dumped upside down. Like, so it was really, really intense. And then one thing that was really special was this policeman. He's the best. His name's Officer Labari, and he gave me he's so brave and literally a hero. He gave me his phone, like, outside of the theater, and let me call my parents and tell them that I was shot instead of him calling.
Emergency services.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was able to tell my parents. And I think at that point, like, it had just happened, so there was no news or anything. My parents didn't really realize, like, the gravity of the situation, but they're incredibly calm. Like, God gave them a lot of peace, and they're like, okay, feel and see if you're wet anywhere else. You might not notice if you're shot anywhere else, because they're both nurses, and so, like, they knew how
I didn't realize both your parents are nurses?
Yeah, they used to be. Yeah, and so after that, there were so many people that were injured that they didn't have enough ambulances, and so they just started loading us up into cop cars.
Wow.
And so like I got loaded up into one of these cop cars, and they rushed us to the hospital, and it was like the craziest ride of my life, that officer getting me there. And
why was it the craziest ride of your life?
Just because he was like speeding, rushing to save our lives to make sure we could make it there.
Like a crazy person.
Yeah, exactly. To get us there because we were like, bleeding
critical,
out and not doing well.
Wow. How many people were in the car with you?
I think there were 3 people in the back. Only one of them was shot. It was like an Indian family. I never
figured out who they were
or anything, but I think one lady was like shot kind of in the neck, but she it wasn't critical, but it was like bleeding a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So it was scary.
So the other people with them were like the
family.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so we get to the hospital, and they like load me onto a stretcher and like bring me in. And this is kind of a side note and really funny, but like they had to like cut off all my clothes to make sure that I wasn't shot anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I think I was more concerned that they were cutting off my clothes in public than that I was probably about to die.
Because of the nakedness or because of the outfits? Like, this girl's
both.
don't cut it.
Both. I was like, no, don't cut my
Please.
Everybody, it was so funny.
That's funny, but not funny. Side note.
Yeah.
I keep wondering if this is like a bad time to insert this, but one of my really like longtime childhood friends was recently shot in Vegas at the country festival, and she said 2 things now that are very similar to what you've just said. One, same thing, so much peace when she was shot. Wow. She said it was unreal, that she was just like, oh, okay, like it's okay, and they were like holding the wounds and all that. Wow. But then the other thing was the clothing thing. She was like, wait, no, can we save these guys? Like, I really love this sweater.
Yeah, I had these moccasin boots on. And they're like super cute moccasin boots, and they're like, we have to take these for evidence. And I was like, no, please, sir, please don't take them for evidence. And he's like, well, they have blood all over them, they're ruined. And I was like, please let me keep them, sir. And he was like, okay. And instead he like took my shirt and put blood on it, and I gave it to him. Oh my god, that's so funny. Please, sir, don't take my moccasin boots. So I still have those boots. Oh, that's which is crazy. Amazing. I got most of the blood out of them, but
that's amazing.
So I got into the hospital, and like there were so many people that they didn't have enough rooms for us, so they just started lining us up in the hallways, like on stretchers and stuff. And still, like, I was shaking from pain, but like God had just like given me this peace that like literally peace that surpasses all understanding, that I can't really explain, but it's so real, was like filling me. And I got to talk to my parents, because one of the ER people like was working at the desk, like gave me their phone. And so my parents were like praying with me and just there, and it was the most comforting thing. I remember too, like a lot of people didn't have that kind of peace, and so some people, like, maybe they weren't as like critical as I was, but they were like a mess. Not okay. So I kept saying like, I'm okay, like go help them, I'm gonna be okay. Really, like, no, but my mom was on the phone, and she's like, Bonnie Kate, stop it, tell them to give me medicine. Like, Bonnie Kate,
stop it, Bonnie Kate, you're not okay. And you're like, but I'm
bleeding out,
but I'm okay, like it's fine. But crazy. You were not. No.
So finally I go back into surgery, and that first surgery was like 8 hours long. What happened was my popliteal artery had shut off, so I had no pulse in my leg anymore, and I had like all this crazy stuff happen. Like, I can show you some scars. Like, this is the one on the back. That's the artery repair. And then these are the fasciotomies, which is they had to like do these things called wound vacs, and it's basically like there's so much swelling that they have to like cut your leg open so that it doesn't like
explode.
Yeah, and then they have these like sponges that fit inside of your leg, and then like suck out all the fluid. It's pretty Frankenstein-y scary, but
so it's because the body is trying so hard to inflame and pump liquid there, that it's like they've got
too much. Exactly.
Gotcha.
And then this was their pair. You can kind of see. Do you see those little blue specks? Like little pieces of shrapnel.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. And then I have some like bigger pieces that are lodged like in there. And then on this side of my leg, I have other scars where they took this vein to repair this artery, so they're able to save my leg. And then I had
science, man.
I know, it's amazing.
It's incredible.
Those doctors were like the best.
Incredible.
And then like I had some crazy scares too, where I had I forgot the name. I think it's a pulmonary embolism, but I think that might be wrong. But basically, like, something gets caught and like most people die from those kind of blood clots even more than the trauma. And
wow,
God was really kind, and I didn't die then either. But it was like a really crazy, bumpy road. But in the midst of it, it's like so surreal. Like when I think about that time, I'm like overwhelmed with gratitude because God was so near and gave us like this peace and almost like, it's gonna sound weird, but like joy. Like there was this like resting, a restful feeling that I can't really describe. That I was just like in more pain than I'd ever experienced or even knew was humanly possible to experience, but at the same time, like it was just beautiful. And while all that was going on, Max was back in Louisiana, where we're from, and the night of the shooting, he was like super restless, which is very uncharacteristic of Max, because Max can sleep anywhere, anytime, like a bear, just sleep.
He's out. That's Dan too.
Exactly.
I'm like,
and
well,
I'm like so
Nice.
jealous.
I know.
Like,
Lucky you.
Yeah, exactly. So that night though, he couldn't sleep for some reason, and like Max probably hadn't talked to my family in like 4 months, but he was just restless and he felt like something was wrong. So he texted my mom and was like, "Hey, I know this is super random, but like, is Bonnie Kate okay?" And at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and my mom immediately calls him back and was like,
crazy.
She actually was just shot in a shooting in Colorado. We're on our way to the airport right now, and obviously it just wrecked him. Like because
I mean,
up until this point we weren't talking or anything like that.
Well, and how spooky is that to wake up and then find out that you're right?
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
What?
Yeah,
like, where did this come from?
It's crazy. And so immediately after that happened, he went to my parents' house and he stayed with my siblings like the entire time that my parents were with me in Colorado. So I was like in ICU in Colorado for like...
Wait, pause, back up, because my brain was just thinking about everything. Did you say that he got on the plane with your parents that night?
No.
Sorry.
So when they got on the plane, he went to my parents' house.
Oh, to stay with your siblings.
Yes.
Okay.
So the entire time my parents were in Colorado with me,
he stayed with them.
He was with them.
Oh.
And like my brothers like love him so much. Well, I mean, all of my siblings love him so much. And it was just like really sweet that he was there, because up until that point I was like super naive and I was like, why can't you just still be friends with my siblings even though we're not dating?
Yeah.
And, I didn't get it. I didn't get like,
whatever.
No.
Come on.
He's like, I'm like, seriously, Max, like it's fine. We'll just be friends. And he's like, you don't understand
my heart.
Exactly. And so I was
like,
oh Max, now I love that so much about him. But at the time I was like, that's so dumb. Like, you can just be friends with us.
Yeah.
But first, like, I guess realizing that like I was about to be gone, he was like, it doesn't matter if I can't like have her, I still want to be there. And like I don't know, his need for more than friendship was like laid aside, and he was just like, I want to be there, I just hope she lives, kind of thing. And so I was in like ICU for like 2.5 weeks in Colorado, and then as soon as I was stable, they had like a ambulance flight. It's like a tiny plane with like a doctor and me in a stretcher, and then us, that's it. And my parents were there too. And so we flew back to Louisiana, and I was like in the hospital like a month, and it was really rough. I had like a lot of surgeries, and
how many surgeries have you had?
I've had 8 so far. And
one of them was in Colorado, or how many of them was?
A lot. I think they did like 3 or 4 in Colorado
Gotcha.
right away. And that was like, just responding to trauma. And then since then it's been more like reconstructive and trying to help with pain and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so let's see, where am I?
So sorry, I always ask questions.
No, you're great. I love it. Questions are the best.
So
I like rabbit trails.
So he was staying with your siblings.
Yes.
The whole time.
And then
you were
I
there.
came back.
Okay.
This is kind of terrible, but I just wasn't ready. So Max was like wanting to see me, and I was like, I get shot, and now you want to be my friend? I was like, no, he can't come to the hospital. I'm not ready yet. I was like, I can't deal with boy drama right now.
No.
And so sweet, wonderful Max like would go and park in the parking lot of the hospital and just like pray for me, and he was there with my siblings the whole time. And then the day that I got back from the hospital, he was there at my house, and so we looked at each other and we're like, we probably need to talk at some point. And then we talked, and it was just like this huge sigh of relief. We were able to like communicate. I was able to be like, I just felt pressured, and da-da-da, and he was able to communicate how he felt, and we're like, okay, we can be friends now. Yeah. And so then we just became like best of friends. Like, he came to all my physical therapy sessions, and yeah, he was just there.
Max wins an award.
Oh yeah, all the awards. And so he was just my friend, and he was loving all my siblings, and so slowly I was like, wait a second, I really like you.
Yeah.
Now there's like relief, and it's not
now
like
I see
pressure.
you as lover boy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so
he came to all your PT. Wow.
And so we just like slowly fell in love, and then we started dating.
Wow.
And then and like he was with me through like all the intense trauma, like
oh my gosh.
even still to this day, like I have an immense amount of chronic pain that's just like constant and daily, and it's really hard, and I don't know what I'd do without him. Like, he's so supportive and just amazing. Like, it's hard for, especially for guys, because they want to fix it and make it better.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Dan feels the same way, and
yeah.
like they can't take it away or make it better for you, and it's just like maddening for them, and yet they choose to like be with you in it.
Yes.
And so like it's
the most
been
beautiful,
oh
humbling
my gosh.
feeling.
It
to know
really
that someone
is.
will stick around.
Yeah.
And you weren't even married at that point.
No,
you know
and
what I
he
mean?
was.
Like,
Exactly.
so I've been like, well, you're married to
Come
me.
on.
I
Yeah.
mean, still, it doesn't take away from him because obviously people separate.
Yeah.
But it's like he chose to go into it.
Yeah, he
after
didn't
you
run
had
away.
Just embarked on this trauma journey.
And we, at the time, like, I don't think, or I definitely didn't really realize, like, the gravity of the situation. I was just always thinking, this is a really hard season, but then I'm going to get back to normal. And then I'm going to be, like, carefree, whatever, easygoing, like, fun, happy life. Oh, and it's obviously not that way. I have a lot of pain, but I forgot. Side note. So, remember how I was, like, sick in Haiti?
Yeah.
This is the craziest thing, how God answers prayers. The day that I got shot, like, the day before I got shot, I threw up like 30 times, and the day that I got shot, I completely stopped throwing up. And the doctors to this day have no idea. They like don't know if it's all the antibiotics or if it's the fact that like I was, you know, on feeding tubes and stuff, and I didn't eat for so long, or if all the trauma like reset my body.
But it just completely went away.
Just gone.
It's funny because when you told me the story at Malibu Farms, that was one hole in my head. I was like, what happened to that thing that she had?
Yes. And so it's
gotcha.
like we still don't like. It's just the craziest answer to prayer ever.
How bananas is that?
I know.
Though? Like, also, what a weird trade-off. I mean, but that would have been horrendous.
I know.
To
like,
deal with that.
Be careful what you pray for. I'm just kidding.
No, I know, but that would have been
crazy.
a horrible situation to have
I was
dealt
slowly
with the leg.
dying. Like, that thing, like, gastroparesis would have slowly killed me. Like,
Is that what it's called, gastroparesis?
Mm-hmm. Gastroparesis is a very vague term. It's, like, anywhere from, like, you have, like, bad stomach aches or you're, like, vomiting blood.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's, like,
it's just gastrointestinal issues.
Yeah, basically. It's, like, not very, specific.
Gotcha.
And so I still have a sensitive stomach, but that's not what happens anymore. Like, praise God, I'm so much better than...
Yes.
And
when you come from any kind of extreme, like, just coming out of it all is like, this is way better. Yeah, like, throwing up 30 times a day and just, like, having a sensitive tummy, I'm good.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
That's totally different.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Like, so much better. And so, like, Max was with me, like, through all the throes of physical therapy. And even though, like, we kind of were hoping it was going to get better, he wasn't scared away by the fact that it might not. And
can I just interject too?
Please.
To those of you that are watching and have not dealt with like injuries or any type of physical problem that has put you in physical therapy, let me just tell you, if you couldn't figure this out, physical therapy is painful.
It's the worst.
Yeah, it's like its own kind of trauma in and of itself, because they will give you exercises that are very almost, I mean, maybe you've had a completely different experience than me, but I don't think so, because I think all physical therapy is like this, that it's almost maddeningly easy, but it's so difficult for you to do that it's like a mental thing combined with like it's acutely going after your pain, so that's just a traumatic experience in and of itself.
Yeah,
so for
like
him
they
to
had
be
to
walking
literally
through that,
rip my scar tissue, like crank my leg to like rip
because
tissue.
you couldn't do it, so they had to rip it to cause the
because it's like so, and then they still end up having to do another surgery because even after they ripped it so much, they realized it was so bad and they had to redo it.
Are you talking about ripping your scar tissue in terms of like
being able to bend my leg?
Yeah, because when I had my knee, which I've had a few surgeries, but all of them have been controlled, so I can't even imagine like just an uncontrolled chaos to the limb, because when I made
in
surgery,
the joint, that's the hard part too. It's like right in my joint, and so it's like there's constant like that's the daily struggle, is like the more I do and the more I walk and the more I'm on it, the more it hurts. But at the same time, like if I'm
not doing anything,
then I will be like so discouraged. Like the more I do makes like me so happy and fills my cup and
I know.
brings me joy. And so it's like this weird tightrope of like, the more I do, I feel better, but my body's worse.
Yes.
But if I don't do things and my body gets
then
better,
you fall into a...
Yeah. It's just like a weird, hard cycle that only people who are in chronic pain can understand.
Yeah. And if you're not up and you're not tackling that and getting through like that depression fog, like the depression fog that can come with not doing anything, I mean, that's obviously horrible for you for many reasons.
Yeah.
But, so he went through all of that with you. I just wanted to interject.
Yes.
So that it wasn't like, oh yeah, he did physical therapy. It's like, that means he walked through a journey with her.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
So how long were you in intense physical therapy?
Like 2 years.
Oh!
I know, it's really rough. And then, but yeah, after a certain point, my physical therapist was like, you just need to try to do regular life at this point because there's not anything else that they could do to help. And so throughout that process, Max and I got married. He had
in that 2 years
crazy epic proposal, which you
it's
guys
on
should
YouTube.
Watch.
We'll link it down below. It's real cute. It'll make you cry.
Yeah, bring a box of tissues. I cry, and
and it's yours.
Yeah, and it's my story. So I'm like, I don't even know how Max is just so talented and so amazing.
He's so talented.
Yes,
so talented.
He's the best.
As are you. Side note, but
and as are you.
Thanks, Bill.
And then so let's see. Since then, we found let's see.
2 years physical therapy.
Yep.
Got married in the mix of that.
Yes. And then we lived in Baton Rouge for a year. And then after like our rent was about to be up, we're like, what do we want to do with our lives? And I was having a really hard time because, you know, I'm struggling with this chronic pain. I can't have a normal job. I don't know what tomorrow's going to be like. It's like constantly a toss up. And we're like, how can we use our passions, use our talents, and like do beautiful things in the world while also filling up our cups? Like, what are the things we love? We love music, we love people, we love traveling, we love like making things, we love good food, we love, you know, all these different kind of things. So we're like, what if we like traveled around, and what if we like I don't know, bought like an Airstream or something and renovated it? And then this is how like Adventurous was born, and this Airstream came about. So it came out of like a really hard place of like,
what
suffering.
Are we gonna do?
Exactly. And also I found out that I had to like testify in court, which means I had to like face the shooter and see him in person, and that was like a really scary, big deal kind of thing. And
was the build up scarier than the event, or was the event
100%? Yeah. Because I mean the event was dark, but like God was like so with me. I was okay, but it was the anticipation is like such a monster.
It really is.
And so through that like season, we're like, let's pour our guts into this Airstream. And so Rosemary was literally our silver lining. It was like, past the trial, we're gonna go on this adventure, try to figure this out, and like, I don't know, do something. And my husband is a filmmaker, so we're like, maybe we could like do film on the road. And so what ended up happening is we renovated this Airstream, and at the same time all that was going on, Wildflower, the proposal video, like got some views, and so YouTube reached out to Max and was like, hey, you guys should think about starting a channel. And we're like, we don't know anything about this. And
didn't know that was a thing.
No, exactly. And so we, you know, prayed about it and like just dove in, and that's how like we started filming for Adventurous. And it's crazy. We shot for like 2 years gathering content, stories, and all kinds of fun stuff. And then we just released like this past month. It's crazy. Like,
the discipline that exists within both of you to film for 2 years.
It's not me. It's 100% Max. It's because it's like a blessing and a curse, because Max is so talented and has this vision. He like does things so excellently, but then it's a flip side of that is like, he's so good about it. He's so particular, and he's like, this has to be like this.
Yes,
this has to be like this. And I'm like, babe, it's perfect. Like the rest
like,
of the world will not even care. Like,
there's definitely like good and bad to both sides, because I'm the opposite, and sometimes I'm like, man, I need to get my stuff together more than this.
It's so refreshing.
But it's just like, exactly.
It's like
whatever.
Both things are beautiful, you know? And the world needs both of that.
I was actually having that conversation with one of my friends this morning.
Really?
You know who you are?
Yeah.
Actually, it's the chick that's editing this video. It's Emily.
Oh,
we were having this conversation. I was talking about just talking with you, and I was like saying, I don't know, am I not prepared enough? Like, I just want to talk. And she was like, conversationalism is like its own
It's the most important thing. Right, guys? Like, you guys know. This is the best. This girl right here is the best.
You're so nice. I appreciate it.
But it's the truth. It's so true. Like, that's what's most important about anything compelling is, like, the story and the heartbeat, like, of it, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, side note.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So, we've been adventuring and going on this crazy thing that has been so challenging in so many different ways, but also, like, so much fun. Like, getting to work with Max. Like, I would not know Nikki if it wasn't for this. Like, I met Tiff through this whole thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Who introduced
totally
us.
Taking off my
please.
shoes
That makes me the most happy.
Good.
Get comfortable. That's the best.
You met Tiff through this?
Well, kind of. Like, Max met Capel through filmmaking.
Gotcha.
And Tiff came, the first time I met Tiff, she came to the Airstream. We're like, oh, and we just clicked. And then when we were in California, which is crazy that this is still the same year. I feel like I've known you my whole life.
Isn't it so weird?
It's mind-blowing.
When you're connected with someone that you're supposed to connect with,
like,
it's crazy.
Yep.
I know.
It's the same. So, it's just so cool to see, like, what God's done and, like, where we are. Like, so many beautiful, incredible things have happened. Like, even if, like, I don't know, YouTube doesn't take off and we don't make money or nothing happens, like, we've already had the most incredible, like,
experience.
Life-giving, it's been such a win. It's been amazing.
It's so amazing.
It's been fun, like, getting to have a mission with Max and, like, work together.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure you feel the same way with Dan, like, getting to do stuff together. It's just, like, challenging in some ways because sometimes you're like, but then at the same time, it's just, like, so
fulfilling.
Exactly.
So fulfilling. It's
awesome.
crazy to me to think, like, in the way that God orchestrates things, because back to what I said at the beginning of the interview, Bonnie Kate and her story literally was part of changing my life and part of why I'm here. And it's crazy to think, it's crazy to think you wouldn't have been there that night had you not been doing all these other things, but that was 2 years in the making.
If I wouldn't have gotten shot, none of this would have happened.
Isn't that
Max
weird?
and I wouldn't have ended up together. I would have never, like, met all these people. I would have never met you.
If you
would
wouldn't
never
have gone to Haiti.
We wouldn't have been, like, here in Nashville.
All of it. It's crazy the way. I know. And it's all perfectly, like, placed
and
pieces.
Connected. Oh, yeah.
I know. So the reason why I say that our conversation was a part of changing my life that night is because... So if you guys, we were talking about our friend Tiff, and if you haven't seen that Tea Talk, I'll link that down below.
Yes,
because she's the sweetest. And our conversation was all about just her life, and we spoke about her boyfriend who passed away, Capel. So that's who she was referring to, how they knew Tiffany. So we talked about that in that interview. But that day that we did Tea Talk, it was really interesting because, like I said, I was in some of my deepest, it was like one of the lowest points of my depression. During that
I would have
week.
never known. Like, seeing her, I was like, this beautiful, bright-eyed light. Like, I seriously felt like that. I would have had no idea. And when I remember diving into your story and just being like, I love this girl. I would have never known.
It's so funny because when I left that night, I told Tiffany, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I shouldn't have done that to Bonnie Kate. Like, I just dumped on her.
Oh,
and she was like,
no.
oh no, Bonnie Kate loves that.
No, seriously. I'm like, it made me feel connected to you. I was like,
that's what she said.
I can trust this girl. We can go both ways. She's not going to be scared of, like, the hard things. Like, which is, like, that's when you know you have, like, a real friend, when they're like, let's do these kind of things. Let's have these kind of conversations.
Just the up moments.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when we met that night, I did this thing with Tiffany, and it had been a really bad week. I talked about this before. It was like the week of, like, the crying in my closet week. And Tiffany had called me, and I was ignoring her calls because I was crying in the closet. I was like, I can't talk to you, I'm crying.
I'm sorry.
So I can't do this. But she called a couple times, and for some reason, she just kept popping in my head. So I was like, you know what? Tiffany's chill. Like, I've known her for a bit. I feel like I can just tell her I can't come. I'm really depressed. I'm dealing with a lot. So I just straight up told her that. I was like, I'm dealing with a lot right now. I'm really depressed. I can't come. And she was like, I know this is really, like, pushy of me, but could I still come up and see you and we can just talk and cry? I just really want to see you, and I don't care that you're sad. And I was like...
Which is the best. Tiff's the best.
I know, she's the best. I was like, all right. And I'm so glad I did too, because it would be so me to be like, oh, I'm good. It actually would be so me to not tell someone that was happening.
Same. I'm the same way.
You know, it's like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm happy.
I'm fine. Yeah. And the fact that I told her, she accepted it, and then she came. So she came over, we talked, we cried, and then I was like, I really just want to get your tea talk while you're here. I don't even know when I'm going to see you next. So we did it, but I was, you know, like I said, not in the greatest place that day. But after tea talk, she was like, I really want you to come meet my friends, especially Bonnie Kate. And the reason she said that was because, also to back up, if you haven't seen my other stuff, the depression that I was in, a large part of that had to do, which is the chronic pain that I've been dealing with for 18 years. And I had just hit a point this last year where like it wasn't even necessarily fully by choice. Some of it was just chemical, as I've told you guys, but like I had just gotten to this place where I was so tired of fighting. Like, you just hit a point where I'm so sick of PT and pain and like it not getting better.
It's so discouraging.
It's like, so discouraging.
And I think one of the most discouraging things is like how lonely it feels because like unless you're in it, you don't understand it. And so like simple things that are normal to the rest of the world require so much courage and so much bravery whenever you're in pain. Because like, you know, me washing the dishes, that seems like very small. But like when you're hurting so bad, just to do normal life is
difficult.
Yeah, it's so challenging. It's like climbing a mountain, and like you have to be brave in ways that people don't see. Or you know, it feels like you're having to like just do one teeny thing after one tiny thing, and it's like exhausting. And whenever you're alone in that, or at least when I'm alone in that, it's like you feel so exhausted. Like I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
You hit a point, literally, where you're just like, I don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the place that I had gotten to in that period of time. And so that night when I met her, Dan and I had been having this conversation because he had kind of proposed to me. I mean, we talk about all of this all the time, obviously, but we had a specific conversation that week where he was like, how did he word this? Something along the lines of like, I don't know why you can't be happy though, because I've seen people, he was referring to Instagram actually, but he's like, this guy on Instagram, he's got all these issues, whatever, but he says he's still happy. This was actually the week where I started to really confront like joy and happiness, not necessarily having to be tied with the fact that I was in pain. Like, it didn't, I'm like...
Right, especially joy, because it's not based on your circumstances. It's like a condition of your heart, you know?
And I didn't, when he was saying that to me, I'm like, I don't know why I'm not able to be happy. I just feel so sad. And when I met Bonnie Kate that night, hearing her story, hearing how horrific it obviously is to get shot in the knee, and the fact that she has had 8 surgeries on that one location, and to see the joy coming out of you, and to also hear you say that night to me that you're like, well, yeah, I hurt, but like, you said something along the lines of like, I have to choose to be happy. Like, it's a daily thing, but I have to choose to just do it anyways. And for some reason, just everything about you, everything you said just struck me so much as like, wow, she's dealing with it. She's doing it, and she's still living life even though she's in pain. Like, why am I shutting down? Like, you really opened up my mind to like,
I feel so humbled.
It's true. Like, I was like, I don't have to shut down just because I'm hurting. Also, it really opened my eyes to seeing, like, Tiffany said this to me that night too. She was like, well, yeah, if Bonnie Kate's in pain, it's like, you know, she'll tell us. It's like we try to do what we can to deal with it. Like, just the whole conversation and atmosphere in that group around the topic of pain.
Yeah. It
was so open and honest and vulnerable. Right. And I just left wanting that. I mean, fast forward, now I'm living here in Nashville, like around a few of those people that were there last night.
Oh, it's that night. That's so true. Like, I didn't even think of that.
I mean, it was a huge part of it.
Tiff, all of us,
Yeah, it was a huge part. And I don't remember, because part of my story in moving here, I uploaded a video called Why I Moved to Nashville. Yeah. And I don't even know if you know did I ever tell you the full story?
No, tell me.
Very long story short, to summarize, you can go watch the video if you want, is that the very first reason on the list was literally during one of those closet cries. God said to me, you're going to Nashville. That's it. I've only felt like God has spoken to me 3 times in my life.
Wow.
The first one was over Dan, and they're always short sentences. Here's my gift to you.
Yeah.
The second one was YouTube. It was get on YouTube. That's it. I'm always left with all these questions. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, am I looking up cat videos? Or
right. What's happening?
Like, literally. And that was the third time was you're going to Nashville. I cannot remember in the timeline if it was before that night or after.
Wow.
I have no memory. But it's so... I do remember, though, leaving and driving up Malibu Canyon after that dinner that night, and I was just like, I have to be around these people more. Like, I have to.
That makes me so excited.
It makes me so excited. Like, my whole... This being here has given me so much life. And even though I know you don't live here yet, maybe one day.
We're hoping. We're looking for a house. We just gotta make some more of that money.
Subscribe! YouTube.com/beadventurous!
So we can live together forever.
It's true though. I knew after that night, I just wanted to be, I wanted to be around
Same.
more people like you and everyone that was there. And so point being, you really impacted me that night a lot. Like, I vividly remember driving through the canyons being like, I have to choose joy. I have to choose it.
And it's so opposite of what the world thinks. The world is like, if you have this, you'll be joyful. If you have, like, this, like, fancy house, perfect body, cool clothes, fun trips, like, then you'll, like, be satisfied or whatever. And it's like, it's not, like, that, like, joyful feeling doesn't come from those sort of things. It's like it's a thing that we really do choose. Like, it's like a kind of like a trust thing. Like, like, I trust you, God, and I'm going to choose to, like, get out of bed. I'm going to put on a bright yellow skirt, even if I don't feel, like, all that bright and sunny, but I'm going to, like, choose these little things because I know they're good and right. And then in doing so, it's almost like a, I don't know, like a waterfall effect or ripple. Like, it gets bigger. And in some ways, like, those little things actually are, like, big things, which go and do things like, I didn't even know that would have happened in your story, and that, like, that encouraged you. And my mind, I'm, like, encouraged by you and, like, your honesty. It's just, it's so cool how it's all woven together.
Well, and it's funny because another thing everybody's been saying to me since I've moved here, like, I love the way you're dressing in Nashville. I don't even feel like it's that different. I just think what's happened is in the midst of that depression that I fell into, which looking back, I think that spanned about 2.5 years of, like, when I just became not myself. And one of the things that changed is, and this is not, side note, this is not a call on depression, like, if you dress this way you're depressed or judging anyone else. It was just a serious divergence, if that's the word, in my personality.
Black and gray and all the time and rock it
and be, like, not depressed. But it was a serious, like I said, divergence in my character, if that's the word, or my taste. For that whole time, all of a sudden I didn't want to wear any color. I didn't want to get dressed. I didn't ever want to do my makeup. And I was just like, I don't, whatever anymore. But something also about you, first off, and then, like, so many people in Nashville, like, the joy of, like, getting up and choosing to get dressed, like, it's weird that a part of me feels dumb saying that, or, like, ashamed. Right. But, like, it's amazing how choosing those little things really bleeds into, the rest of your day.
Seriously, like, putting plants on the table makes me feel happy. So I'll go out and, like, pick a greenery in the yard because I'm like, you know, this is going to hurt me because I'm walking around, but, like, it that little thing that happy. Brings you joy. It's like, good.
And I love that. I love that so much. On a side note, now I'm about to be a teacher, but I want to encourage any of you out there that if you are in a place where, like, you don't want to get dressed anymore, just try having more fun with it, because I feel like all of you that have been saying that to me, that's all that's been going on, is I've just been having more fun. Like, putting together looks, it's like, how do I want to be today? Like, what do I want to look like?
I love that. And, like, people tell me a lot, like, oh, you can pull that off. I could never pull that off.
Ding, ding, ding,
Don't
ding,
ever
ding.
listen to that. Don't tell yourself that. Like, if you think something's cute, girl, put it on.
Yes.
Or guy, wear that hat.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Go for it. Like, if it
pulling something off is like just you wearing it.
Seriously, you pull it off.
I'm like, you did it.
Put it on and you pull it
off. Exactly. I totally agree. Okay, so I have a couple more questions that just popped into my brain. So, with your, what do you do on a really bad day? Let's say do you ever just wake up and immediately right when you wake up, it's like you're in so much pain? Is that every day of your life 24/7?
Pretty much. Like, I go to sleep. I mean, even, like, going to sleep is hard. I'm sure you understand. Like sleep is a restless thing because I don't always sleep well.
I actually don't connect with that because I've always slept pretty dang well. Like, for me,
such
sleep
a blessing.
is like,
good.
I'm on my back.
Yes, and so you're not up.
It's the pressure of gravity that will hurt.
Right. For me, it's like, I'm distracting myself, and then as soon as it's nighttime, and, like, I'm not around people or stuff, it's like it floods to the front.
Yes,
so usually, like, nighttime and mornings are pretty difficult, and that's when I have to, like, be really brave. But, yeah, so I wake up, and it's pretty much consistent. It's like a baseline of, like, a beep, a pretty loud beeping sound, and then the more I do, like, the more shrill it gets, or the more painful it is, the more it comes to the forefront.
That's amazing. That's how you described it, because I've described it to Dan before as, like, I have a kid next to me and they're going, Mom.
Yes.
Mom.
Yes. And you're like, Mom, honey,
24 hours a day.
Down.
But then sometimes they're like, Mom. Mom. And they just don't stop ever talking. And you're like, sometimes you're able to be like, I'm good. I'm good. And then sometimes you're like, Arr! So, okay,
Totally.
it's so
Same
funny.
thing.
Okay, so a beeping noise, and sometimes it's just more shrill.
Yeah, and you can't block it out as well. And so, what do? I feel like the biggest thing is, number one, I pray because I can't do it by myself. I feel like, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for, like, God giving me the grace that I need just for today. And I'm like, that sounds probably so abstract and, like, whatever, Christian language. But, like, I, like, truly mean that when I say it. Like, I would not be here functioning at all. Like, it's totally not my strength. But there are things that I do choose to do. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm hurting. Waking up, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, you can do it. Make some hot tea. Okay, put on your cozy slippers. I have, like, these big bear slippers. Okay, why don't you, like, look at Max. Look, he's right there. He loves you so much. Like, cuddle your husband. Okay,
so
look
you do
at
a lot of, like,
flowers.
self-talk and self-guidance through your morning.
And I feel like it's not even so much that I'm, like, speaking those things to myself. I'm more like, it's like a subconscious, like, notice the beautiful things. Notice the good things. Choose to think about those things. Don't be overwhelmed by this pain, because I feel like that's what pain does. It turns you inward to where you're like this self-absorbed, tiny small package. And it also, like, corrupts all your thinking to where you can't see the beautiful things. So you have to, like, actively fight that by being like, look at the beautiful things, look at the good things, like, be thankful for what you have. And then, like, when you're practicing that sort of mindset, I'm not saying, like, oh, I don't even notice my pain anymore, it's just so easy waking up. It's like, no, it's a real fight. But at the same time, it's like, those are the sort of things that help keep you going. Like, being thankful, like, practicing gratitude, as, like, cliche or whatever as that sounds, it's, like, vital for us to be able to survive. Like, and it's so basic, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to do, is you so easily just overlook it, and you're like, oh, that's not that important. That's just, like, I don't know, picking greenery. That's not that big of a deal. But, like, when you don't do that, it piles up. And your monster gets heavier and heavier to where, like, you realize, oh, 2 years have gone by, and who am I? Like, I'm not myself, and I have, you know what I mean? It's like a slow kind
100%
of eating away. So, like, I think just being, like, mindful and active, like, putting people around you who will also encourage you, like, you know, being friends with people who will be vulnerable. I don't think I could do it without my family. Like, my mom and dad and all my brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest of 7.
Oh, I didn't realize you were the oldest.
Yes.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's so much fun. So I have, like, the youngest is 12, and we're all in between, and I'm 24. So it's so much fun.
So cool.
And so I feel like those little small things
keep you going. It's fascinating to hear you say that pain will bring you inward, and you'll stop seeing beauty, because I swear to you, I think it was just I wasn't open, or I wasn't around people who were dealing with similar things, but so much of my processing happened between me and Dan prior to this, because I felt like he was the person that I could tell.
He was with you. He's the closest.
Yes, exactly. And I didn't, like I said, because I wasn't around other people who had maybe had similar things, we weren't processing together. So I'm, like, hearing people say things now.
You're like,
more.
I get
like,
that.
Oh my gosh, totally. Like, I literally told Dan in the middle of everything at one point, I said, Dan, I don't know how to describe it. It's like I used to see the world through these glasses, that everything was beautiful to me, and it's like someone has taken them off and gotten rid of them, and I don't know where they are.
It's so
and I
true.
used to find everything beautiful, and then it was just like, all of a sudden, like 2.5 years ago, it just like, I was like, where did all the beauty go?
Yeah, what happened?
What happened to it?
And that's what I feel like has been one of our biggest like, motivations for living this crazy lifestyle that Max and I do. Is like it's so important to still, like, wonder and have that childlike sense of awe of the beauty around you. Like, it's easy to, you know, be an adult and everything's concrete and, you know, black and gray and brown, and but, like, it's important to, like, sit and wonder at the beautiful fall leaves, like, falling, and, like, the light that's, I'm sure, is about to happen out this window of this beautiful sunset, and, like, cool crisp air, and, like, truly, like, breathing it in. Like, those sort of things are, like, are tools to fight chronic pain or depression, or those sort of things. Is, like, allowing yourself to, like, notice and rest and like, see those things, notice those things, even if you don't, like, feel it right away. Like, I don't really like feel like it's that good to go sit outside and does whatever. Like,
yes,
go through the motions, because it really does help. Like,
yeah,
maybe not right at first, but it totally does in the long run, I think.
I've always said that sunset walks are my favorite. Yes. And I told my therapist that one day, and she's like, well, yeah, when people are dealing with like pain and stuff like that, getting outside is like the number one.
Oh my gosh, for me,
isn't that amazing?
It's like the best medicine. Like, I don't take any medicine for my knee because, like, that's a whole other story.
Oh, you don't take any medicine?
Because
wow,
I was on like all the narcotics, and all the hardcore drugs, but like my body metabolizes pain medicine in this crazy way.
Oh no,
to where it doesn't affect me. So like I was taking stuff that like would literally knock out a normal person, like unconscious. Like if you took it the wrong way, it could kill you. Like very, very serious drugs, but it wasn't even like phasing my body. I don't know why, like however God just made me, but it ended up being a blessing because I am not addicted to all these narcotics. Geez. And I very well should have been. So it's hard because I'm always in pain. Good thing I'm not like a drug addict.
So things like Advil, all that doesn't do anything for you.
No, it's like,
oh my gosh,
it's like literally like you have an iceberg and someone's like trying to like tap off the little top of it. You know what I mean?
It almost seems like a cruel joke.
I know, it's really hard,
ironic and hard.
So like I don't. Yeah, no, like it's raw all the time, and there's not anything out at this point, you know, where who knows what kind of medicine will come out or what kind of advancements will happen, but like at this point it's just like
they've kind of
there's
told
not
you
anything else that I can do. It's just like taking it a day at a time and just like doing my best to like live, that's a pretty overwhelming prognosis or diagnosis, especially for someone like me who's just like, I'll just like work really hard, get it done, and then be normal. Yeah. And like this is like this is a forever thing. This is like you have to. This isn't like a sprint. This is like a marathon of the rest of your life, which is so overwhelming. So that's why it's very important to like be grateful and just like think about today. Yeah. What do you have to do today? Like, what are the good things about today? Like that kind of
one day at a time.
Yes, it's so important.
That was such a big part of my move here because I came to a place. So, and I feel like I keep saying my depression, but I just like I don't know how to word it.
No,
I'm like, that's real. It. That was what it was. I think part of what kicked that, besides the fact being in pain for so long, like my doctor at UCLA that ended up, because now I think I told you I'm on antidepressants now.
Oh, has it helped?
So much.
Oh, it's so good.
It's literally what it's done is it's like, I used to, sorry if you've already watched this video, I used to be in a fog of pain everywhere.
You found your glasses.
I found my glasses. Oh, that was cute that you picked them up. No, I know. It was a fog of pain all day, every day. Yeah. And what the antidepressants have done is it's lifted the fog, and now it's more like,
you can deal with it.
My hip hurts, my knee hurts, my back hurts. It's not like, my whole body hurts and I can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So, but I think part of it was the chemical switch that happened just from fighting for so long.
Yes.
But I also think, oh crap, what was the point? There was a point. You were talking about
the medicine.
Okay, the thought just came back to me. What I was going to say is, part of it I think was chemical from the pain for so long, because it does, to any of you that are out there, just so you know this UCLA doctor told me that when you are in chronic pain for a long time, a risk that you run is your brain can literally, like the chemical imbalance can shift, because
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So she was like, it's been proven that the chemicals can flip if you're fighting for so long. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. It helped. Bottom line, I'm super grateful for the Lexapro that I'm on.
Yes.
But the other thing I think is because I used to sit in that same mindset of you, is I think what you're saying of like, well, if I'm just really disciplined and I do everything I'm supposed to do and I just take care of it now, then I can get back to living my normal life. Like, I was like a dream patient in the sense that like all of the exercises I was given did all day, every day, multiple times a day. Yeah. And it's a lesson. I feel like that was the point in part of the move here. God taught me that like I can't control everything.
Yeah.
Choking. Hold on.
Yeah.
But the other thing was realizing like in moving here, okay, so like I can't control this. This might be the rest of my life. And if it is, I have to just go do something that will make me happy, that elicits
fills your cup.
happy emotions. Yes. And I think I used to downplay the emotion of happiness or not pay attention to what organically brought that out of me.
Vital. Like
what brings that out?
Singing makes you happy.
Sing.
By goodness, sing.
I know.
You need it.
That's the thing, and I don't think I paid enough attention. I know I didn't pay enough attention to what organically elicited the emotion of happiness.
Yes.
Until all of this unraveled. Mm-hmm. And so that was a thing too, like you were saying, taking it day by day. I was like, I think I got to move because I got to go somewhere where every single day something will pull it out of me.
Yes.
Because I don't know if this is going to be the rest of my life. I don't even know if I'm going to be alive through next week or tonight. So it's like, I just got to do what makes me happy. So, okay, you were mentioning another thing that you feel like really helps.
It's super duper important, and hugs are very important. I think they're one of the most important. Like having people that like love you and are present and are with you and just like hug you sometimes. Because if you're watching this and you don't struggle with chronic pain or depression or any of those things, like, and you can't identify, I think one of the biggest things that you can do for somebody is just to hug them and to just be there.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to understand it. You don't have to have answers for it. There aren't answers. Like,
exactly.
It's very complicated and hard.
Yeah, but, like, that's a good point.
Being present, like, hugging each other, physical touch, it's just, it's vital. It's, like, so important. It's, like, you can't even, I don't know, estimate how much that's important. Like, does. Yeah, it's so
and like
good.
you said, because there are no answers. So I think that's just such a great route to go, is just being there with the person.
Exactly.
And like, you can, through our conversations of us saying this, like, it means so much to us that our boys were there.
Yes,
you know,
that's
like,
the
so
biggest
just
thing.
Being there.
Like, Max didn't like be like, okay, Bonnie Kate, we're gonna fix your leg and here's how we're gonna do it and I'm gonna figure this out and do. No, like, what means the most is like whenever I'm crying because I feel like I can't do it anymore, and he just holds me and sits with me.
Yeah.
Like, that's
so sweet.
Literally the most important, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, knowing you're not alone.
Yeah. For real.
Well, BK, this was beautiful. I'm once again, just want to say again, I'm so honored that you sat down to talk with me, with us.
I feel the same way about you.
I really hope that we can do many more in the future. I keep saying, I'm like, I want to be like Joe Rogan, where like he brings like friends on multiple times.
Yes, because bring them back and see where you are
now. Let's have a conversation. Oh, speaking of which, we actually are about to do another tea talk with our dear friend Tiffany. So, if that's up by the time you see this, that'll be linked down below. If not, look out for that soon.
It's coming.
I actually just realized I can almost guarantee it will not be out by the time you see this, but I'll tell you why in a second. Yes. But yeah, be sure to go over and check out Bonnie Kate and Max, not only on their social media sites, all of that, which I'll have everything linked below, but also their YouTube channel. Their YouTube channel, guys, like, the quality of not only like visually the content, but also just the stories and the connection and the sense of community you get from watching their stuff. You have to go check them out. So all of that will be linked down below. And I'm doing a video over on your channel.
I know, which I'm super duper excited about. We're actually doing two different things. We're doing a perfect picnic episode, which is going to be super fun. And then we're also doing a farmer's market, some kind of like harvest soup with some sort of salad, maybe some kind of yummy, healthy, delicious, all the vibes.
Oh yeah, because we're doing a cooking video on my channel too, so look for that also. There's just going to be a lot of links down below.
It's going to be amazing.
That info box. And we will, do you have any like final word you'd like to say? Or no, I always put people on the spot and they're like, what?
I guess choose joy. And I love you, Nikki. And I'm so glad to be a part of this. And I feel so honored to get to be here and to talk. This was awesome.
So cool.
Cheers.
Cheers to tea and good conversation.
Amen.
Yes. Drink pretty much all of it.
We both did. There's like one tiny drop. And I was like,
a really intense drop.
Yeah.
All right.
Very flavorful.
Bye, guys. We'll see you soon. I don't even know how to stop the recording of this camera.
It's so brand new.